Not sure. That one's the flu.
Lyn Williams has a fascination about death.
I've always found cemeteries fascinating, and the information that you can see on the headstones, the inscriptions. So you see there's 4 children have died within a couple of months of each other or something. That's always been fascinating.
And she loves uncovering the stories of those who have passed.
What I like about it, it's a way of telling Hamilton and the Waikato story. It's the history of the area represented by who's buried here.
Lyn's hoping she's not the only one with this morbid interest. This weekend, she's hosting a tour of the Hamilton East Cemetery, along with the local council.
The purpose of it is to demystify cemeteries for people and to celebrate them as places of social history and heritage importance for our communities and places where people come together and connect. Cemeteries have a lot of information about people that have been buried before. They hold a lot of social history, cemeteries.
Lyn's spent more than a decade researching and writing stories about Hamilton's dead, and if there's a headstone she doesn't know about, she'll make it her job to find out.
The fact that there's no headstones in such a long stretch, I'm wondering if they're to do with the Depression.
Could be paupers' burials.
Late 20s,
yeah.
30s.
Lyn's delved into stories of former mayors, ordinary folk, and everyone in between.
But Grandad Cliff had a dreadful death. It's in the shade under that tree there. He actually got ploughed to death. He sort of was ploughing, 8-horse team. The plough ran over, he tripped and fell under the plough, and he got disembowelled basically. And it took him 2 days to die, so that's not one of the prettiest stories. And I haven't actually written that one up yet, but I will.
The oldest headstone dates back to 1865. It's estimated there's more than 13,000 casket burials and 800 ash interments, but Lyn's certain there's many more here.
There were no records, and this was a wilderness of scrub and fern and gorse, and there were pigs and cattle running through the place, and fires going through the gorse and the fern, and a lot of the headstones were wooden, so memorials were wooden. So they burnt, and there's no record, nobody was making any plans. And some of them could be under the roads, because the roads weren't here either. And in the Masonic section, there's a road that goes through the Masonic section, and there's a lot of Masonic graves that we don't know where they are.
This year also marks a century since the lethal outbreak of influenza that killed thousands of people across the country.
October, November 1918. If I ever see that date, I sort of think, oh, they probably died of the flu.
These days, around 70% of people nationwide are cremated, and many cemeteries, like this one, have run out of room for burials.
You hear overseas where people are being put in on top of ancient burials. I feel a bit uncomfortable about that, but at the same time we're running out of space. So I think there'll always be a place for cemeteries, somewhere to go and pay your respects to the dead. Your family members, really. That's what it's about.
Hunter Calder, Local Focus.